Hey everyone, Foxitor. Welcome to the draft analysis for season 4 of the UPBA. I think so. Yeah, I think it's season 4. Yeah, it says in the top. Season 4 of the UPBA. We're doing all months at once because I'm lazy and it's easier like this. And it kind of helps me talk about the team as a whole instead of Mon before Mon. I think the draft ended up pretty good. It's an S tier league. Like, it's not an Ubers league, although there are Ubers in the league. But it's an S tier league. Like, a lot of Ubers are still not allowed. But I managed to grab some, which is very cool. So I'm gonna just get into the thing. I was I was very late in the draft, which means I almost got a wheel pick. Not quite. I think it was the 16. Yeah, it's the 60-man division of a 32-man league. So we're with 16 people, and I was like 13, 13 or 14 or something. I think 13. Anyway, it's almost a wheel pick, and a lot of the Ubers went before me. But I'm still managed to grab Lando I. I think Lando I is amazing. It hits stupidly hard. It almost has no switch-ins. Can be run special because of sheer force boosted special type moves. And physical because it has a really good physical attack set, of course, as well. But sheer force Lando is broken. And I was like, okay, I can grab 2 Ubers if I want, you know? I can grab 2 Ubers. So I grabbed Zamazenta C as well. Now, Zamazenta C is not considered a very good Uber. It was like, it probably was made with the idea of being like the bulky counterpart to Zacian, but it gets no recovery and it gets you can't run lefties on it, which is stupid. Like it's supposed to be a really bulky mon, and it is like stat wise a very bulky mon, but it doesn't have any recovery, which is why I'm gonna jump directly to Aromatisse, which I drafted like specifically to support this thing because it gets wish. Like you can't run lefties on this, so if you want recovery, you either have to like draft Wish or Grassy Terrain or something. So I drafted Wish. Like what wants to come in on Aromatisse, like steel types, poison types, things that can threaten it out because Aromatisse is kind of passive. No one like actually takes damage from Aromatisse. But you know who eats those for days? Zamazenta. So those two pair very well, and that actually allows me to throw up wishes and pass them into Station. I mean Zamazenta. Other than that, like Zamazenta has Uber stats. It has an amazing speed here. Attack stat is good. Bulk stats are absolutely busted. Like this thing is bulkier than Toxapex. So and it gets a +1 defense boost on entry into the field. So this thing is absolutely busted in that regard. Also coverage is kind of okay. So it's like it's an Ubermon, but it's not really an Ubermon if you know what I mean. So that's why I drafted Zamazenta. That's why I drafted Aromatisse. Let's see. We can talk about Volcanion. I grabbed Volcanion after the like in the grace period because I noticed that I needed some fairy resists. Like Zamazenta is a steel type that doesn't resist fairy, so that's kind of annoying. So for those, I grabbed Volcanion and Stack Attacker to help with the fairy weakness I had for a bit. Volcanion is a really cool mon. It's really strong. Like Specs Volcanion hits so hard. Even non-Specs Volcanion is like it's just really strong. It gets defog. It gets nice coverage. It gets like haze and roar as well. So that's really good. And Stack Attack I honestly just have never used. I know in Trick Room Stack Attack it can be like absolutely lethal. It can set rocks. Helps with the fairy type weakness. Has good bulk stats and a good attack stat as well. And garbage speed and special attack, which is honestly probably better for it than anything else. It was either going to be Stack Attacker or Steelix. I was like, okay, probably get some more value out of Stack Attacker. So that's why I went for that. The main slow pivoting core that I drafted is Mandibus Porygon 2. The only thing is that those two mons are really weak to knockoff. Like Mandibus doesn't want to lose its boots, and Porygon really doesn't want to lose its Violite. But I think it pairs very well with Zamazenta and in some sense Virizion, because Zamazenta can't lose its item and it gets a +1 defense boost on entry. Like knockoffs are going to do -2 damage, and Virizion gets a potential physical attack boost, so that really helps. Part of the slow pivoting core, you can also count Lantern, I guess. I really need some water resist in the end, so I also grabbed Lantern in the free agency period. But Lantern is a really cool mon. Like I first thought Lantern was kind of bad because like it has a good HP stat, but other than that, its stats are really garbage. Like it has garbage stats. Let's be honest. But with decent investment, Lantern can be really bulky, and it can kind of volt switch on anything. It has a really good defensive typing. Like electric water is a really good defensive typing, especially since it gets an immunity to electricity and water if you choose so. So I think Lanta's very cool. So we have a slow pivoting core in like Lantern, Mandibus, Porygon 2, which is cool. But we also have some really nice offensive pivoting. I already mentioned Landorus Incarnate, which has U-turn. I also grabbed Galarian Dom. Like also, I always have an amazingly hard time prepping for Dom G, but now I'm not going to be on the receiving end anymore. I'm going to be on the delivering end. Yeah, Dom G is like absolutely busted. Bandit, Scarfed. Even Zen mode can be fun to run. It can fire off just really strong U-turns, Icicle Crashes. Gets amazing coverage. It gets like Flare, Blitz, Earthquake. Like we all know Dom G. It hits like a truck. So that's why I grabbed it. The only thing you need for Dom G to properly work is good removal, which I do have. We have Landorus, on which you most times don't want to run it. We have Volcanion, which is very good at it. We have Mandibus, which is probably one of the best defaults in the game. So that's for that. Did I miss any removal? No, I think that's it. But I think that's enough. Like, you're probably going to run defog on Mandibus anyways. You don't really need... like, Mandibus doesn't often have full Moonsault Syndrome, in my opinion. So, that's good. As for the hazard setting options of this team, Landorus is a very good offensive Stealth Rock setter, meaning that it can often force mons out, which gives you a chance to rock, which is very cool. We have, let's see, Stack Attacker. I don't know how much I'm going to bring Stack Attacker. But Stack Attacker gets rocks. I think that's it, actually. Like, hazard removal and hazard setting is not a strong suit of this team, necessarily. But, like, everyone wants boots anyway. Like, hazards are good, but hazards are becoming less relevant. Let's just say it like that. Any more ones I want to talk about? Maybe some more about Virizion. Virizion is cool. It gets Swords Dance, Calm Mind. It's fast. It's especially bulky. If you invest in it, it can be physically bulky as well. I used Virizion once to just completely wall a team that had like Landorus, Therian, and Zarude, and what more did it have? Rotom Wash. Like, it can be a very niche defensive typing that it has. So it can be good for that. I guess recovery and synthesis as well, which is good. So yeah, it's a fun one. Especially for like 6 points, I think it's very good. Other than that, not really much to talk about this team. The idea was grab some really strong hitters, which I have in Volcanion, Dom G, Landorus Incarnate, Zamazenta, and pair those with some nice slow pivoting, which I have in Porygon 2 and Mandibus and Lantern. And the rest of the team is just dead support. Primarily, Aromatisse really supports Zamazenta Crown. I think it really does. Like, at least on paper, it should. So I hope it works out like that too. And yeah, that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed this draft analysis. I'm really glad I did it this way. Like, otherwise I just end up talking way too fucking much, and I'm only gonna bore myself and others. So that's the team. I think it looks very cool. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. There's a bunch of cool coaches in this league. There's 2 divisions, a single strike and a rapid search. Is that it? Yeah, plenty of really cool coaches. So please go check them all out. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.